Hello, thank you for being with us. New Life series. Hello, Dr. Lightman. Hello, everyone. Hello, Tal Mandelbaum. Hello. We want to learn with you how to be happy. We're talking about happiness each time from a different angle. And we want to not only talk, but really transform to being happy people, people who wake up happy in the morning, that go out of the house and meet other people. We enjoy our connection with them. We want to feel that we're happy to be alive and not that we're always just in survival and in war with one another. That we'll have color in our faces like we were when we were little. We used to get up in the morning to attack the world. You remember it? Yes. You want it? That's what we want to learn today from Rav Leiman. Be with us today. I'm sure it won't come from a look. He'll explain to us what his secret is. Open up our search for today. We're searching for that secret for true happiness. We know that one of the things that cause us to be happy in life is our connections with others and the love that we feel from these connections. That's what we want to talk about today, love and connection, and love to who, to what? Love in general, but maybe let's start from that state where the place that causes us the most happiness is this falling in love. Love that's built on sex, romantic love. Because there can be love for anything. Anything that I enjoy, I love. There's love for kids, love for some kinds of foods. But love, let's say a guy and a girl, yes. Let's say it's between a guy and a girl. It's really a situation of falling in love where I feel it really fills me completely. I'm always thinking about it. It's always there. It's filling me with this warm feeling. And something really interesting happens at the beginning of this love. There's like this flirt between one another. And it's very interesting because in an intuitive manner we feel that there's some kind of game, the game that we spoke about before of the desire and the filling of the desire. Sometimes we're even afraid that if we show the other side that too much that we want them, that we desire them, they'll distance themselves. And if we show them that we're hard to get, the opposite happens. How does it come to us so intuitively, this flirting? First of all, we're looking for love. Love is a pleasure from something that we really desire. I, first of all, feel love from my mother as a child, as a baby, because I get from there security, liveliness, life, calm, everything that I need. I have lots of desires, deficiencies, fears, anxieties, just like a small child. And the more that I advance in life, and from the age of 3 till the age of 10, 11, 12, I'm always in situations where I need to receive love from my parents, and then in accordance with that, and then I feel my dependence and love toward them, and that's in a natural manner. And later, this love, it transforms into another type of love that I suddenly start to feel. I feel like some girl is pulling me more, is attracting me more than other girls. And then there's lots of stories about it, romances, even about this first falling in love. And then there's not really a flirt here, I don't know what it is, but I'm actually still desiring to see her all the time, to be where she is, where they're talking about her, etc. I have these inclinations for connection, for some kind of closeness, but not too close, but I don't know what it is. But for a connection, I'm attracted to having a connection. And afterward, when we grow up more, then there starts to be this inclination more towards sex, toward development, that I understand that it's not just toward some external package, but toward her, but that there's something in her that can supply me with this inner urge. Afterwards, until we attain this connection, and afterwards time changes, time goes by, and we suddenly lose our interest in one another. Our tastes change, and it's as if we each is finding a new occupation for themselves, new sources of happiness, until we suddenly see that there's something that distances us to different directions. We flow to different directions, and we disconnect. Even though this powerful feeling of love at the first is very strong, the love from mother remains for our entire life because it's a real corporal connection. It's a connection at the animal level. And with animals, it's different. They completely forget after a few years that they meet. They don't even know each other. They don't even know it's their mother and father. They don't even know this is their child. With animals and with humans, it remains for their whole life. But also, the same can be said of first love. I can meet her, and those same impressions awaken, and there's something, I have something toward her. It's not love, but it's some special, that you like this person. It remains inside you, that nature manages us, teaches us. We have this affection. It teaches us about all kinds of inner events we have to go through to be ready for life as an adult. And here there's an entire system of relations between us that we apparently build on sex. But apart from sex, we want to tie family, new assets, kids, our plans for the future, mutual help, the moment that we're weak, and also when we're not, signs of special attitude, that all this I built on that same foundation that's called love. That still I can't connect to a person who's not attractive, who turns me off. That there's something I don't like. I don't feel that he can really be close to my body. There has to be a very simple, clear corporal foundation at the animal level that's based on real hormones. We know how, we won't get into all that chemistry, but that truly, here we're in a situation that even though the foundation is quite corporal, even at the animal level, but we're building on it all kinds of forms that we want to make it pretty. We want to build on it all kinds of castles. Around love, we have an entire industry, culture, education, with the treasures of music, theater, and everything. And if we didn't have love, then people wouldn't have all these things. We can say that if we didn't have love, we would really remain animals. And it's a wonder that only these hormones that build us some kind of attraction to one another, at the end of the day, they bring us to human development. What is there in humanity? Something that there's some connection to sexual attraction, but it turns out that everything's built on that, and it's a wonder. So, love means, if we're talking about satisfaction, then just as there's satisfaction in food, family, respect, intelligence, happiness, etc., there's satisfaction in love. But with love, there's something special inside a person that he needs an attitude. He needs to receive an attitude of love, that people relate to him like that, and also that he relates in that way to others, in contrast to anything else. I don't need the fish to relate to me in a special way because I love fish. I don't need a special relation from food to me. No, I don't need some calories to jump straight off the plate onto me that they'll be yearning to get to me, but rather also the same thing with money and respect, control, and all those things. Here we see, first and foremost, that there's in a person a desire, a deficiency, some inner emptiness that we are always demanding to fill it with the way people relate to me and how I relate to others. That if people love me, it's like a mother loving me, and then I enjoy it. But it doesn't mean that I love. Love is interesting in the way that I love someone, then I enjoy it. That I give to someone, then I'm enjoying it. I bring flowers, presents. There's someone that I can give to, in contrast to our nature, and that gives me pleasure. It's sort of an altruistic expression out of our egoistic nature. What's altruistic? Giving. That I'm giving another pleasure. Or a mother toward her child, which is natural love. But for us, that's what's happening. And I'm missing that. We have it a bit for kids. Am I missing to give it or to receive it? I'm missing giving it. That's the wonder. That I myself, that I check myself. I want to fill myself. My desires are always to fill myself. And also what I attract towards myself, and the filling always comes inside me. And here it's as if I'm filling my fellow man, and by them enjoying, I'm enjoying it. It's a special thing. And here there's like a breakthrough toward love, to reach a different kind of love, to love the connection between people. But with love, if we develop this term love, it starts to explain to a person. So here we also have a source of pleasure that never ends. And that's what we spoke about in other shows, because my problem with every pleasure is that I get filled. And how much can I eat? How much can I rest? How much can I travel? Everything ends in the end, even sex. it's over. Even it's the foundation of pleasures in our life because it's for continuing life. But love has nothing to do with sex, even though it's the family and everything. It's everything apart from life and food, life itself. But love isn't. The sex is just entices us to all the other pleasures. But love that starts from sex, if I know how to build it properly, then it rides over everything. And then in love, I'm integrated with my fellow man. Integrated, what does that mean? It means that each one receives desires and feelings of the other like his own. I know that the other side likes something, and I especially invest a lot of trouble in giving him what he wants and filling him with that, and I get pleasure from that. I can give him corporal pleasure, and in that I can fill myself with pleasure. We can call it spiritual pleasure. It's like a mother filling the baby. But here we can build it in a mutual manner. Well, even if we don't get real mutuality, she just has a desire to look after him. He smiles to her, that's enough for her. But we don't usually receive from our children anything in return. But with love, we can fill the other and enjoy. And we can also receive from the other and enjoy. And we enjoy in a human manner. Here the attitude is important to me and not the materialistic things. So here we're raising ourselves to a feeling that we're building relations between us that have nothing to do with material things. And if a person desires that, women desire it more than men. And we'll speak about it, why it's like that. So it turns out that here we are capable of building a source of happiness. And if love wouldn't stop, wouldn't demand from me each time renewal, an investment, a big investment, an effort, and it was so-called eternal love, then I would enjoy it in an eternal manner. We don't need many things for that. We just need relations between us. And to give to one another just a crumb, something, it doesn't matter what, attention, and it's enough to fill the other person and receive from him also pleasure. In other words, here we're talking about some kind of about our world, our big world full of deficiencies and pleasures and everything, but altogether there's some breakout, some opening in our world that's called love, that if we use it correctly, this term, if we understand it, if we build it, with the help of this term, we are capable of getting out of this world to completely new relations, this gray, black, empty world. It's really a desert. There's nothing here. Wilderness. It's taking us through that same opening, that door to the new world, in which we can live, and we just need to keep our body alive. But everything else, all the pleasures, we can fill them in my attitude between myself and my fellow man, which is called love. Precisely, this exists in literature and movies. If we're talking about love, we're talking about If there's something eternal, it's love. That everything's over, everything's dead, but love is forever. Because it's renewed by the integration of each person. Each one integrates in the desires of everyone else, of their fellow man. That I fill your desires and you fill my desires. And we get pleasure from the other person getting pleasure, not egoistic love. This they don't know. This is a new addition. I don't know if it's new, but otherwise it's not called love. It's called the love of fish, that I'm enjoying from someone inside myself. And that's the love of fish, that I'm enjoying a fish. So I enjoy a woman's body from my relationship with some person because I'm profiting from it. If my profit is a feeling that I have, but by giving the other pleasure, that's called my loving him. Otherwise, I love myself. And then on condition that we cut the source of pleasure from ourselves. In that, we are giving a new foundation for eternal happiness. I didn't get it. If I take a good portion that I was really looking forward to, and I put it into my desire, not into my stomach, but a pleasure that's in front of me on the plate, I put in a piece of meat into my tummy, but actually I'm putting pleasure into the desire. Oh, I enjoyed it for a few minutes that the pleasure didn't fill the desire. After it filled the desire, I even feel bad. The pleasure's over. And that life is over. Life is a feeling of pleasure. After that, I feel like that it's not even worth living. I'm like a creature, even less. How can I always fill myself with this renewing deficiency, that this deficiency is never full and it's always full? That's the paradox. Why isn't it full? The other person's filling me. Because I'm getting filled from giving the other person pleasure. Then let's say in you have a deficiency to receive from me pleasure. Yes, and then I have a pleasure inside to enjoy filling you, that you're enjoying from me. And then it turns out that I can be, by filling you with a feeling of love from me, that I'm always enjoying the fact that I'm filling you and feeling how much you're enjoying from me. So where's the difference in renewal? We disconnected in the correct love between us, the deficiency and the pleasure. That my pleasure is inside you and my deficiency is inside you. And actually what I'm filling in you, I'm filling myself. And therefore, I'm never full, I'm never satiated. And here's the opening. That's why I said in our whole great world, there's an opening that is to the eternal world, to the eternal feeling. In psychology, in positive psychology, they talk about happiness as something coming from a flow, from ability not to feel myself, because I'm so busy with something. I just feel that and I don't feel myself. They're usually talking about something that I'm doing, something that really interests me, and then I don't feel time. You feel yourself, just you feel. Don't feel yourself on your own, but how much you're in contact to the source of happiness. And that creates a flow. It creates an endless flow. I may just be involved in some creation. But in love, we can, increase one another. When we're two and not one, then we can increase our deficiencies and pleasures. And to the extent that we know how to relate correctly and how to raise them up, then here it all depends, and it's all in our hands. We're going out of human nature now. That they felt some fantasies that I had. The source of pleasure, the power of pleasure, exists in our hand. It's between us, and it doesn't depend on anything else, anyone else. There's a lot of other things in love, a lot of new insight that people don't know how to use, but they use the word love to take advantage of the fellow man. Love is dependent between two people, and we're not dependent on any others. It's not that we're not dependent on any others. Two that love one another are willing to go. They can get on a plane and go to a private island. They don't need anything. They have an island in the middle of the ocean. They're making love there, and that's it. What else? That on that same island, they can live their entire life if they know how to use the connection between them properly, and they can always increase the love between them. Why? Because their deficiency and pleasure depends on the other, not myself, and therefore I can't extinguish it. If it depended on me, then it would be extinguished. So then we need to know how to renew the desire all the time. Otherwise, you see all these other relations. If we go down to regular love, not the religious kind, that's exactly the problem, that most people start out with this feeling of happiness, and pretty quickly, and especially today, we see divorces happening very, very quickly. So the question is how to maintain it. But I just want to say there's a lot of data about that married men live 7 years longer than single men, and they have double the chances of being happiness. So we see that there's something in social connections that causes us to be healthier and happier. We're built to be in a family, and not just in a family, to be in good relations between us. So the question is how to maintain it, because the fear is really the fear that it will disappear. It will disappear. It's not a fear. Without fear, because we're reaching a state where we have to make a revision of. We need to take a good hard look at our entire life. So the love we spoke about before, it's disappearing. I also need to say another thing, that what we used to be occupied with love for the last 100 years, let's say the last 100 years, even less, there was no such thing in humanity, in the history of humanity. People used to get married because it suits me and it's good for me, it's worth it for me. It's they didn't yearn to, from my village, from my family, we would get married inside the family, not too close between relations, but still. Therefore, the term love, it's only started in the last 40, 60 years. Prior to that, we didn't have things like that. These games used to belong to the elites a little bit, but 99% of regular people wouldn't speak about love even. They just used to live, and that's it. Even with a normal need. But truly, in the 20th century, and even in the second half of the 20th century, in the last 50, 60 years, we're so deep in these hormonal problems that suddenly we feel love, suddenly we're getting married and getting new things. And there's a lot of industries around it. And today it's gone out again. We're not in some situation that we didn't have before, but rather that we don't need to be in family relations anymore. Once upon a time, if I didn't have a family, I wouldn't be capable of. People used to get married because they need someone to look after the kitty cats, and we need a wife that will look after the husband, and the wife needs the husband to look after. We need to build like a nest, a family nest, in which we build our new life. Otherwise, we can't get along. An unmarried person can't exist. He can't serve himself. Therefore, family would live from an existential way, whatever we need. Whatever we don't need from the family, then we don't need the family. And the term of love that we had in this last period, it's as if it bloomed at the time when the family was becoming slowly destroyed. Let's say from 1950 up to 2000, the family gradually became ruined, and nowadays it's also disappearing, the term love. And all these things exist in the correct connection between them. At the end of the day, we're going over all these things, and we see that we don't want family, we don't want love, but rather, if I need this or that, it passes and that's it, it disappears. So today, if we're talking about the term love that brings happiness, then we need to completely disconnect from what we understood and spoke of previously. It's completely something else. It has the same name, but its content, its inner content, is completely different. I'd like us to get into that a little bit. Love that brings happiness. You say it's the same word, but it's a new technology. In the big story of love, the first station in the story of love is the issue of the flirt. I'd like us to get into this dynamics and try to learn something about happiness. What is it in this game of courtship, the flirting, etc., everything around it, that causes a person to feel happy? Why? What is there? We're looking for happiness, so I want us to get into this flirt issue to understand happiness in general. There's a desire and a pleasure that's being renewed all the time. What desire? A desire to enjoy the other person, and he enjoys you, and you're happy pleasing him, and the opposite. Each one, the foundation of both is that each wants to enjoy, first of all. Each has a deficiency for pleasure, for happiness, like you say. Now, this deficiency to enjoy, it receives a special flavor. I want to enjoy from someone. It's simple, just like you want to enjoy a fish or a trip or anything else. What we call love is that I want to enjoy from someone with what that someone feels for me. It's similar, it can be similar. Can you go, I want to enjoy from someone, from what he feels toward me? Yes. Let's put it like this. Let's leave love. It's confusing us. I'm building myself as being respectful in the eyes of others. I'm enjoying what they think about me. I'm great in their eyes. I'm important, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm in control. It's something that's respected in their eyes. That's how I present myself, and this is how they look at me. And they have some way of relating to me. They can be afraid of me. That I'm in, like, controlling. They can appreciate me. I enjoy that, etc. I enjoy the feeling of my fellow man, that they want me, the way my fellow man relates to me, their impression of me. Yes, I enjoy that. These are very, very important pleasures for a person, for the human level in us, because it's jealousy, greed, respect that raise us above the animal level in us. Jealousy and lust and respect. It's important what my environment thinks of me. How can we put it? They start saying bad things about me or put me down, or they say all kinds of things about me. It doesn't matter if it's correct or not. I'm really insulted. The person in me is stronger than an animal. I'm willing to commit suicide. We have plenty of examples like that, because you kill the person inside me. If the world wants to, they can kill me like that very easily. There's examples, there's the terms. I really wanted to die. I wanted to bury myself underground. We're in a situation where we really, really feel this attitude of the environment toward me, toward a person. We really feel it. And here we can develop this thing toward other happiness, not toward love. I wanted to get into depth about the flirt. I'm getting to it. What's special in how I relate to my fellow man, which is the whole world it can be, and how I relate to the person that I love? We have a goal to give pleasure to one another, to give pleasure to one another, to receive pleasure from one another. And what's special about it is that each wants to give pleasure to the other. The way I relate to it can be completely different to how I relate to the public. Here there's special connections that they are called love. Love is called me being concerned that the other is receiving pleasure. And here there's a few types of love. There's love that is dependent on the other person, that he'll know about me. Let's say I love him, that I don't even care. I don't even care if he knows or not. It's important to me that he enjoys. Can you give an example? An example, imagine to yourself that if you love someone, not necessarily that he'll know about you maybe, but really you just enjoy that you caused him pleasure. And that fills you. It's not simple. It's very high, it sounds. Yes, it's high. But that's true love, that you don't have any touch to it. Like donating secretly, let's say. But you enjoy it, of course. You enjoy causing him pleasure. Or you're enjoying from causing him pleasure and he's thanking you. Or he's getting back to you and precisely enjoying receiving this pleasure from you. It's not a matter of the pleasure, what he's enjoying, but rather he's enjoying from receiving it from you. You give him something simple, but because it's you bringing it, for him it's a great thing. Meaning, in love, it's very important that we receive it from a person that we love. The thing, not that he's great, that he's rich or respected, that I ask for his autograph or something on his book, but rather that he's important to me, he's special for me. Special, for me, he's special. Therefore, that's the gift, the attitude that I receive from him. Here we have the ability to increase the gifts, the love, the relations to such an extent that it's the whole world. For me, he's the entire world. It depends how I appreciate him in my vessel that's called my desire to love. Is it good to just want to fill the other person? Because we see in life that many times one side just gives and they're just good, and it creates the opposite reaction on the other side. This we're going to reach. Like with our egoistic nature, of course, there's a lot to learn here. Not just learning, but really practical steps over an extended period of time. We need to have a lot of brains and experience to truly reach the love that we're talking about. It's not just some instinctive attitude between a guy and a girl. We need to have serious senses to go to develop this and to build it despite our nature. Because we're not just in love, we have control and respect and jealousy and truly to using the other, and all these urges, they're always on fire and they're always confusing us, and sex and food and trouble from all sides that want to disconnect us. And we need to, around the term of love, we need to build the rest of the world to use it in a way that the term love will grow. Because that's where we build our future for pleasure, for never-ending pleasure. And then we need to gradually know how we can add the whole world to that, and the whole world becomes supportive of that. And it's truly like that. We'll discover then, afterward, that the whole world is built in order to bring us closer to this eternal love. That's nice. It's nice, but in the meantime, we have to go through a whole university. Hang on, I'm not giving up the flirting. To explain the flirting, why does flirting make people so happy? What is there about this dynamic between people? There's some power. We're not talking about flirt at the level that one turns the other's back to the other and makes poses. I'm not talking about that rubbish. Like a guy with a girl in the street. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people, smart people, developed people that understand that they need to look after the deficiency in each person, and the deficiency of each has to be directed to the other, to their fellow men. And that I have to always increase my deficiency in her, and she has to increase her deficiency in me, and I have to increase her deficiency toward me to help her with that, and she has to help me so that I will always increase my deficiency toward her. I don't get it. There's a game between them, a mutual game. It's a game. It's two systems that begin to connect together in such a way that they begin to integrate one in the other. That each one integrates these two systems. I build in myself her system, she builds in herself by yourself my system, and then we need inside each of us to make preparations and work through these preparations one toward the other in such a way that in the end her systems that I'm in her and that hers that are in mine will connect together as one system. This is communication, a connection, a mutual connection, that the two of them will be as one. And we'll have Adam and Eve, they'll be as one. Yes. So I built her to be in me. I built her image in me, her desires, her pleasures, with her character and everything, her entire internalness. You need to know. And you need to connect to your system. And you need to take her system, her deficiencies and pleasures as valuable to you, and your system as serving her system. I need to build in myself an inner picture, what she loves, and serve it. Let's say, why does it have to be inside him to serve me? We do it anyhow, but whenever we're in this mutual connection, we do this. But here I'm talking about doing it in an awareness, understanding that I'm controlling, that I want to make the connection between us bigger. That's why I have to know your internalness. I really need to feel it, not just to feel it, that I'll be able to control it. I'll be able to control your system. That's the flirting? Yeah, hang on, it's distant from love. No. Precisely not. What am I controlling? By the fact that I'm always concerned with your system. Your image in myself becomes the main thing that I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with this system, and I'm serving it all the time. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That instead of me looking after myself, now I'm looking after her. That's called love. Because I'm entirely as a vessel for serving my fellow man. Why does that make me happy? Hang on a second. That makes me happy? Does it make me happy? Yes. And also I see that the same thing, she does the same thing for me. She's aspiring to serve me, I'm aspiring to serve her. So what? The fact that we each have the correct image of the other inside us, what does it come to serve? What does she need? What her desires are? Then we are not just blocking each other, filling each other. We're making sure that each will enjoy the other more. Each time I'm looking for how I can give her pleasure. I'm concerned with her always, being concerned how to enjoy from me. I have to always treat her in such a manner that I'm in anxiety that she won't stop loving me. And I won't stop loving her. And the opposite. And that his love won't stop toward the other, and that the other won't stop to love him. And this anxiety, this fear, it has to be a foundation. And that's the basis for love. And this is the proper way to integrate in one another on this foundation. What's the correct manner? That I will truly, that I'm concerned that she will, even in a tiny way, always, that if it stops, that each one goes back to being concerned just with their own needs, and then it's over. And also in this manner that we're saying, and I'm also concerned that I won't, my love won't get less. I should really be scared. I should really be in fear about what exactly? That the love between us won't stop or go down even a tiny bit. But rather it should always increase. We have to increase our deficiency for this increasing, continuing love that's always aspiring. It's an obligation. The minute it stops, it starts falling. If I have to increase it all the time, you have to increase it all the time. That's why we have to always have our systems integrated in one another, so the other always adds to the other deficiencies and pleasures. You said here that I truly need to feel her internalness. Is it a condition for the process that I feel her internalness? If I love her, of course I should know what she enjoys, what she loves, what she doesn't.
Okay.
So that's how I do it. I have to sort of swallow her. I have to build some sort of form so that I'll know how to relate to her. I'm always awakening desire toward me. That's a flirt. Yes, to awaken a desire. How do I do it? If you know exactly how she's built, you start being concerned. How to increase your deficiency toward her? With what? You always have to be afraid that she won't stop for a moment, that she won't calm down with her aspiration. How do I know what's happening with the other person? Because you have his form inside you. You need to know him. You want to be integrated with him and control him, and he's willing to give you this control. That's how it is in love. Each one wants the other one to control him. How will I make sure that she won't be able to? I understand this fire of love has to grow larger and larger. The foundation is my constant concern that she won't lower her love toward me. Did I understand correctly? Yes. And at the same time, there's another question here. You're in concern, you're in joy, are you in pleasure? We're talking about happiness. You have happiness from it or not, that you always have to be in this anxiety, this fear. Sometimes happiness and sometimes pain. It's maybe two sides of the same coin. And if a person knows that this anxiety is pushing you to increase your love in such a manner that you raise in her the deficiency toward you, then it turns out that we never We never cancel our deficiency to one another. I lost you a bit. Can you go back? No, really, it's important. To make a long story short, we need to create such relations between us that we will never stop being thirsty for one another. By us each having anxiety that the other one will be thirst for him, and this anxiety will cause them to continue thirsting me? Yes. How do I control her? How do I make sure that she won't stop loving me, so I cause her to truly love me? How? There's another element here. It's the deepest thing we have. There's nothing else in the world. The fact that you need between both of them, between both of you, in the systems, yes. The fact that you and her and she and you need to build a baby, a common system between you. That doesn't belong to you, it doesn't belong to her, but between you. That's just like in our corporal world, we give birth to a common thing. It's a result of both of us. Now you need to build something that's between you. What, for example? Some ball full of love and anxiety, mutual love and anxiety. And this common thing that you give birth to now between both of you. This is how you live, not one inside the other, but rather both of you are there. What do you mean a ball? I mean something that's between us, between us. It's not in you, it's not in me, and not in any other manner. There's something between us. There's something between them. What do you mean? In one of them? No. In the other? No, it's between them. That's what I'm talking about. But here I'm talking about the special term between them. What does that mean? That between them, it's what they build in their understanding, in their purposeful manner that they relate to it, that they need to give birth to something common between them that's called Adam and Eve are as one person. Because the term man and woman, it's two that are connected between them. That's what we need to reach. How does all this connect to happiness? Then inside you'll feel happiness. Just between you. Will it be happiness that ends like any other happiness that I know? No, never. It will be an eternal feeling that you'll disconnect from all your other feelings to such an extent that the more you increase it, the entire world will disappear. Apart from this ball between you, and there won't be anything else except this ball. Everything will be centered around this ball. Why will it satisfy me, this ball? You have nothing apart from it. You're forgetting your animal self at the animal level. Everything else is egoistic, simple desires. But now you are building something that's truly something spiritual between you. Both of you are giving birth, to animals, are giving birth to a person. I didn't understand this image. This connection between you, that you're giving yourselves each over to the other, that each is concerned with the other, the fact that each lives in the other, then you give birth in this mutuality, this balance, that you give birth to something common. This common thing that you give birth to, this is called a person. At the animal level, you came out to the human talking level. That's the greatest happiness that we can reach through anxiety and love. deficiency or filling. Our time is up. Rav Lightman, listen, it's a problem. It's too interesting. We need to continue. Thank you very, very much. We'll try. Thank you, Tal. Thank you also for being with us. We're building love. All the best. New life.